Some of these airplane features seemed perfectly normal during the golden age of flying. Some of these had fatal consequences, and number 20 was a disaster waiting to happen for decades. Number 1. Loose wicker chairs. In the 1920s and 30s, passenger cabins looked more like a sunroom, often featuring seats made of wicker because it was lightweight. While these chairs were typically secured, early safety standards were a joke compared to today. The flimsy wicker offered almost no rigidity or crash protection. During turbulence, the ride would have been jarring and chaotic. It didn't take long for regulations to demand sturdier, fastened seats, and the wicker chair was quickly retired as planes got faster and more powerful. Number 2. Cockpit visits for kids. For decades, a highlight for any kid flying was being invited into the cockpit to meet the pilots and get a set of plastic wings. This friendly tradition was an instant victim of the security changes following 9/11. Today, cockpit doors are reinforced and locked for the entire flight. Casual visits are strictly forbidden. Number 3. Sleeper berths and overhead racks. On the Boeing 377, Stratocruiser of the 40s and 50s, you could pull down a bed from where the overhead bins are now. These sleeper berths let passengers lie completely flat, like on a train. It was incredibly luxurious. It was a terribly inefficient use of space. As airlines shifted focus to mass transit, the idea of sacrificing that much room for a few sleeping passengers made no economic sense. By the 1960s, these airborne beds were grounded for good. Number 4. Spiral staircases. Early jumbo jets like the Boeing 747 had glamorous spiral staircases connecting the main deck to an upper deck lounge. While it looked spectacular, the design was heavy and consumed a huge amount of floor space. As airlines prioritized cramming in more passengers to lower ticket prices, these grand staircases were among the first luxuries to go, replaced by simpler straight designs on later aircraft to maximize seating capacity. Number 5. Piano lounges and onboard bars. In the 1970s, American Airlines put actual piano bars in the back of their 747s. Passengers would gather around, order drinks, and listen to live music at 30,000 feet. These lounges were often smoke-filled and chaotic. The party ended, not just because of smoking bans, which were phased in much later, but because airlines realized the space could be used for more revenue-generating seats. Number 6. Pub-style swivel chairs. Continental Airlines took the bar concept even further in the 70s, with pub sections featuring swiveling chairs and tables. The idea was to create a social hour in the sky. It had one massive flaw: turbulence. A sudden jolt could send drinks and people flying. Ultimately, the relentless drive for passenger density won out, and these social spaces were sacrificed. Number 7. Powder rooms and dressing lounges. Before the tiny plastic lavatories of today, early airliners had spacious powder rooms. They were like small dressing rooms, with large mirrors, vanities, and even seating. Passengers used them to freshen up or change clothes. The problem was, they took up the space of several potential seats. As flying became mass transit, these glamorous but inefficient rooms were shrunk into the utilitarian boxes we know now. Number 8. Skycots for infants. In the 1950s, airlines like BOAC offered the skycot for babies. This was a small crib mounted to a bulkhead or other cabin structure, letting the infant sleep during the flight. While it seemed clever, it was incredibly unsafe. Any significant turbulence could have been disastrous. Today, strict rules require infants to be held on a lap or secured in an approved car seat for a reason. Number 9. Plush sofa-like seats. In the 40s and 50s, cabins often had wide, sofa-style seats with generous legroom. With no class divisions, everyone got a lounge-like experience. This level of comfort disappeared for one simple reason: money. Airlines realized they could make air travel more affordable and profitable by packing more people onto each flight. Number 10. Leather armchairs in open cabins. A Handley Page HP-42 in the 1930s felt like a yacht club with big leather armchairs in an open social layout. The catch? These planes were unpressurized and flew low and slow. The ride was incredibly noisy and bumpy, and air sickness was common. The arrival of smoother, higher-flying jets made this whole club-in-the-sky concept obsolete. Number 11. Wire-braced biplane wings. The earliest airliners still resembled their World War I ancestors. Some biplanes used external wires for wing strength. The problem wasn't that they were guaranteed to fail, but that the design created immense drag. This limited speed and efficiency. As soon as internally supported monoplanes proved they could fly faster and farther, the biplane design was immediately retired from commercial service. It was simply an evolutionary dead end. Number 12. Corrugated metal skin. The classic Ford Tri-Motor and Junkers F-13 had a distinctive wavy metal skin. This corrugated aluminum added strength without a heavy internal frame. While effective, the design created a huge amount of drag, making the planes slow and inefficient. The development of smooth, stressed skin construction, where the outer skin carries the aerodynamic loads, made corrugated metal completely obsolete for high-speed aircraft. Number 13. Early stressed skin wings without backups. The move to smooth, stressed skin designs was a huge leap, but early versions were risky. Some designs used a wing that was advanced for its time, but lacked the internal redundancies of modern aircraft. The problem was that a single crack from metal fatigue could spread and lead to the entire wing failing. Modern jets use a semi-monocoque design with internal frames and stringers that prevent such a catastrophic failure from a single point. Number 14. Wing sponsons on flying boats. For decades, flying boats were the kings of transoceanic travel. To stay stable on water, some used large protrusions from the fuselage called sponsons, which acted like floats. They were brilliant for takeoffs and landings on water, but they were incredibly draggy in the air, slowing the aircraft down. Once the world built more airports with long runways after the war, land-based planes became far more efficient, and the flying boat era ended. Number 15. Non-round windows. The de Havilland Comet was a pioneering jetliner, but its rectangular windows had a fatal flaw. The sharp corners concentrated the immense stress from the repeated pressurization cycles of climbing and descending. This led to metal fatigue and catastrophic explosive decompressions in midair. After these tragedies, all pressurized aircraft were designed with rounded corners on windows and doors to distribute stress evenly. Number 16. Fabric-covered wood frames. In the early 1930s, many passenger planes were still built with a wooden frame covered in treated fabric. This was lightweight, which was critical for the era's underpowered engines. The problem was, wood was prone to rot, and the fabric could tear or degrade. The introduction of all-metal aircraft, like the Douglas DC-3 in 1936, marked the beginning of the end for this fragile and high-maintenance construction method. Number 17. Early retractable landing gear. The Boeing 247, introduced in 1933, was revolutionary for tucking its wheels into the fuselage during flight, which dramatically reduced drag. However, these early systems were a maintenance nightmare. A gear failing to deploy meant a dangerous belly landing. A gear collapsing on the ground could ground a flight for days. Today's systems are incredibly reliable, but those early versions were a constant source of anxiety for pilots and mechanics. Number 18. Thick cantilever wings. The Junkers F-13 of 1919 was a trailblazer, featuring a thick, self-supporting cantilever wing with no external braces. This was key to the development of the modern airliner. However, these early thick wings were heavy and not very aerodynamically efficient. Later designs would refine the concept with thinner, more advanced airfoils for much better performance. Number 19. Chefs carving roasts on fine china. During the Golden Age, airlines competed on service. It was common to have chefs on board carving roasts and serving them on real china with metal cutlery. This has gone not just because of cost, but for security. After the hijackings of the 1970s, real knives and heavy silverware were seen as potential weapons, which helped lead to the plastic trays we use today. Number 20. Onboard smoking sections. It's hard to imagine now, but until a worldwide ban was fully phased in, you could smoke on planes. Ashtrays were built into every armrest. The problem was, besides the obvious health risks, it was a massive fire hazard. A carelessly discarded cigarette in a lavatory trash bin was a leading theory for the cause of the tragic Varig Flight 820 crash in 1973. It was a completely avoidable danger. Number 21. Tarmac boarding via air stairs. Before jet bridges, you boarded a plane by walking out onto the tarmac and up a set of stairs. It exposed passengers to bad weather, deafening jet blast, and the dangers of an active airfield. For security, safety, and efficiency, the climate-controlled jet bridge has become the standard at almost every major airport. Number 23. In-flight movie projectors. Long before personal screens, airlines tried communal entertainment with movie projectors. A film would be projected onto a screen at the front of the cabin. The experience was terrible. The image was flickery, the projector was noisy, and anyone not in a prime seat had a bad view. The system was quickly abandoned for more practical solutions. Number 24. Sending postcards from the sky. As a marketing gimmick in the 50s and 60s, airlines gave out free postcards. You could write a message, and the flight attendant would have it mailed for you when the plane landed. It was a charming novelty for its time. In a world of instant messaging, the idea has completely vanished. Number 25. The flight engineer. If you looked in the cockpit of an airliner from the 30s to the 70s, you'd see three people. The third person was the flight engineer, whose job was to manually monitor all the engines, fuel, and other systems. As flight computers became more powerful and reliable, the role became redundant. Modern jets are designed for a two-pilot crew, which significantly cut airline operating costs. We're lucky that most of these ideas died out and were never repeated. Which of these weird features do you wish would make a comeback? Let us know down in the comments.